Okay, for the technical and production issues and how we would overcome them, since there are two people recording, like we would have to start recording and everyone to get onto set and like properly get into place. It's pretty much a bad thing because there's a long out timing of like recording, and this we could accidentally get something wrong since there's only two of us recording. And there is only also one camera, so like we would have to record one scene probably multiple times to get like right shots into like a scene. So.
Any questions?
Yeah. Any questions?
Yes, Toby?
Why Beethoven for the soundtrack?
Like because it's like because it's classical like piano music, we feel that it would create the effect of like calm, like people being calm at the start, and then in a way, as you're seeing like stuff that's like horrific at the end, like Steve getting killed, like it would kind of could portray the feel of like the audience being sad for them, because he's obviously got mental problems, and someone's obviously gone out of their way to do such a horrible thing. So.
Why did you ask that question, Toby?
I just found it both slightly strange, but potentially able to work very well if they time it right.
Yes, in terms of the major key drops or key rises and.
So, as a probably minor suggestion, like they could time it so when either Steve attacks the killer or vice versa, they could do that when the song hits the crescendo, when it's all loud and like shocking.
Yeah, great advice, well done. Any other questions, David? Oh, sorry, go on, Chloe.
Is there any reason why you chose to show it from a male's perspective rather than a female's?
I think it's mainly because, like, since we couldn't really find any females to play the part originally, and plus, like, it like just about mainly affects males in a way because they keep like their emotions in, and thus this could like create the effect on a person. Since they're not letting their emotions out, it kind of portrays it so like it's in like real form instead of them like letting their emotions out, because there's this stereotype that men should like be like really strong and like never let their emotions out and all be hard-headed. So
David, then Corey Brady, then Corey Lovett. Yep.
Yes. You know when you were speaking about the scene of the headphones, about the music being dim, and when he puts it on it's clear. Are you planning to, because from what I understand, this will reflect on his hearings, so are you planning to do that throughout the whole project?
Yeah, so the background will mainly be Beethoven. So it'll start obviously with it being very quiet, the headphones go on and it rises. And as tension builds up, the music should rise with it, so we'll pick out the bits that have the tension and make that rise with the things that are going on. But have it in the background so it's not too quiet, but it's not too loud to overcome everything and draw the focus off everything that's going on.
It would also basically, because for our short horror film, it would be mainly based around his point of view until the point where like the killer kills Steve or Steve kills the killer. It would change. Like with the headphones thing, like we felt it would be effective to dim out the start, so like instantly you can tell that he's got problems because he's asking for medication and he's like trying to seek help from a psychiatrist. So yeah.
Corey?
In the instance of there being an antagonist attacking the main person in the film, I'm just a slight bit confused, because is there any way or in which part the attacker is defined as being an illusion or hallucination, or an actual physical attacker? Because in the case of where the attacker kills the protagonist, the viewer is often left with, okay, in that instance, the attacker was physical.
Mm.
And it kind of ends like that, in that sense. And there's no like lead off, or maybe he possibly attacked himself in his own mind, but to everyone else, but in his own mind he was being attacked. And when in the other instance, when he attacks the said hallucination, there is again, I find in the way you described it, that it's very hard to define, is if there's one thing and another thing, one person being a hallucination or an attacker, because it's just kind of blurred together, and in a sense throughout the whole film with both actions, it kind of leads down the path that the actual attacker was physical and not something of an hallucination.
I echo what Corey said, because I wrote down, if it's in the head, he kills. If it's not in the head, he gets killed. So are you suggesting that in either outcome, there's death? And if it's in his head, where he's thinking he's being followed, but he actually isn't, he ends up killing Steve. He ends up killing the killer, sorry. Steve kills the killer.
Yeah.
But if it's the one where he actually is being followed, then the killer ends up killing Steve. I think what Corey's suggesting, and I agree, is in the branch where it's in his head, he isn't actually being followed, and it is the voice in his head. In that instance, rather than him killing somebody, why not harm himself, or end up harm himself, but then you'll be able to film it where it looks like he's injured, but then there's no one around him, so it's obvious that he's done it himself. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's
That just makes me think of the film Fight Club.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what we're trying to like portray, like, because the audience wouldn't know if the killer is physical or in his head. Basically, what we're planning to do, if when Steve goes to attack the killer, like it's like in a way that he's like overcoming his hallucination. So the killer is actually like a hallucination, but because he's in a real form, like that Steve is seeing, the audience wouldn't know that. So it looks like he's in a physical form, but actually, like, the killer isn't. So you'd see Steve like killing him, but like on the right at the end, you see that no one's there.
Right, so you are doing what Corey said, but you just missed out the important ingredient, which is at the end you'll show us a clip that no one is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that solve your question?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, that ingredient is really important, because I wrote that down straight away, and then when Corey said it, I was nodding, waiting to almost butt in, because that bit's really key. Otherwise you won't really end up with two deaths on either side. And I wrote down alarm bells. You're suggesting that all people with mental health are going to end up killing or be killed.
We weren't trying to portray
Yeah.
that at all.
So, really fantastic question, well done. Corey?
Why choose mental health rather than psychoactive substances like hallucinogens?
We decided to talk about mental health because there are like different mental health problems, like psychosis and others that I can't remember, that like both like can cause hallucinations, and because not many people like would know, like, because some people think they're like joking, like they'll say like get over it or whatnot, when they actually can't, because they've either held something so long in them, or like something traumatic has happened that they're like seeing something, it's like just generally affecting them. So we kind of wanted to put out the